Lockhart. If you're not familiar with either of these, if your first time watching ECPW, Rudy in red, Ethan in pink. Again, this should be a great matchup between these two young stars. Expect a fast-paced encounter as well. Collar and elbow tie up here as Ethan Knight backing Rudy Lockhart into the corner. And I mentioned that there had been some words exchanged between Ethan Knight and the East Coast Pro Wrestling Commissioner, John Patterson. And John Patterson laying out an interesting stipulation to this match. On next week's program, the Sam McLean Rumble will take place. We've just learned that if Ethan Knight wins this match, he'll be the last entrant in the Rumble. But if he loses, he will be the first entrant. So this is a high-stakes matchup. Of course, any matchup is a high-stakes matchup. You want the bigger share of the purse, but a little added extra incentive. As Ethan Knight backed into the corner. And he's going to take a walk and take time, but he's got to watch himself. He doesn't get counted out. He'll find himself coming in number one in the Rumble. Knight going outside the ring. So Rudy Lockhart, I'm sure, would love that last spot in the Rumble, which is on the line here. And Ethan Knight, he's got to watch the count here. Emily Parker, referee in charge. As Ethan Knight will break the count and then back out. He's raising the ire here of Rudy Lockhart. Maybe a little bit of mind games here. Trying to get into the head, and Ethan Knight not in a hurry. He's certainly not getting paid based on fan approval. Not winning any popularity contests here. Ethan Knight, is he putting his scarf back on? I'm not sure if this is just more mind games or not. He's going to have to get back into the ring. Of course, that Sam McLean Rumble that's taking place. The winner of that match is going to earn a future title shot for the ECPW Championship. So if I were Ethan Knight, I'd be worried about securing a victory here to get that last spot in the Rumble. As middle of the ring, tie up. Who is going to gain the strength advantage? Two similar size competitors. Bit of a height advantage here for Ethan Knight. But Rudy Lockhart's used to being the underdog. He's not intimidated by that. Tie up of the arm, going to work on the left arm there of Ethan Knight. Lockhart sees Knight take control. Boy, well scouted. I mentioned these two were against each other in that ladder match. They know each other decently well, and that's showing in the early stages here. And Knight able to gain the advantage, takes Lockhart down. Boy, you can see the grimace in the face of Rudy Lockhart. Able to twist the arm back, and another counter deserves another counter. Evenly matched opponents here. Great contest here at the New Waterford District Community Center. Great ECPW action. Taken down to the mat. Rudy Lockhart favoring the shoulder again. Last spot in the Sam McLean Rumble on the line to the winner. The loser will left-ender number one. As Lockhart with a kip up. He's taken down by Ethan Knight. That's Knight exerting control over Rudy Lockhart. Crowd none too happy with what they've seen from Ethan Knight here. As Knight with Lockhart in the middle of the ring. Lockhart trying to establish something here to see if he can take down Ethan Knight, and he does with a hip toss. And the crowd likes what they've seen now from Rudy Lockhart. Ethan Knight will back up into the corner. Yes. Knight swing and a miss. Another swing and a miss. As reversal. Knight trying to power Rudy Lockhart. Oh, an escape under the legs there of Knight. Clever maneuver there by Rudy Lockhart. Oh, and a headbutt. Ethan Knight will be feeling that one. And Lockhart now, headlock along the ropes. Emily Parker there telling him he's got to give some space. If he has Knight on the ropes, he'll have to break after 5. Working the headlock again, trying to take some of the wind here out of Ethan Knight. Lockhart thrown into the ropes. Under again. Again, well scouted, and a drop kick there by Rudy Lockhart. Listen to the crowd fire up for this youngster. Now Lockhart punches ducked by Knight. Oh, and a powerful drop kick takes Lockhart to the mat. Ethan Knight up to the second rope, and he's got to stop worrying about trying to get the approval of the people, which, let me tell you, Ethan Knight, you're not going to get that. Particularly not against Rudy Lockhart, that's for sure. And now Lockhart says, yeah, look who the more popular of us is, and Ethan Knight's a little bit rattled by that. Lockhart maybe trying to get into the head of Knight, saying, hey, the fans want to see me win this thing. But still much to be settled here, as once again, Knight hearing the boos, and again, the winner of this contest will go in number one in that Rumble match. The loser will find themselves. The loser will come in first. The winner comes in last. So obviously advantageous to the winner. As Lockhart hearing the approval from the fans. As Lockhart lines Knight up. A big blow. As Lockhart now lining Ethan Knight up. Lockhart wringing the arm of Ethan Knight. As there's a punch right to the head there of Lockhart. Pinfall attempt. Nope, not yet. Thrown into the ropes, and Knight is going to take that opportunity to scurry outside the ring, but he sees a slide drop kick waiting for him. Rudy Lockhart going right back, keeping that momentum, going through the ropes. Oh, wow, tumbles into the ring with a ferocious dive. Talk about a high-risk maneuver. I was getting flashbacks the last time that those two went outside in this building. Rudy Lockhart, a house of fire with a big chop there. It's Ethan Knight. As Lockhart with Knight outside the ring. And don't know what the verdict for the Rumble would be if both these men got counted out. Would they start 1 and 2 then? To ask John Patterson about that one. As Ethan Knight rolled into the ring. As Lockhart now. Sunset flip. No, he goes off the ropes. Duck of a clothesline. Oh, and he got him that time. Knight takes down Lockhart. And Rudy Lockhart now finds himself in some trouble here. As there's a big blow by Knight, backing up Lockhart into the corner. As there's a chop. And that's fully felt effect there by Rudy Lockhart as he's being ridden along the ropes. Boy, his eye will be sore after that. As Ethan Knight, forearm to the head of Rudy Lockhart, rips him into the opposite side. Wow. He came in with full force. The impact sending him down to his belly. Is now Ethan Knight perhaps mocking Rudy Lockhart. As fans behind Rudy trying to cheer on their favorite here, but right now it's Ethan Knight with Rudy Lockhart in a world of trouble. Lockhart whipped into the ropes, powerfully into the turnbuckle, and once again, boy, he's feeling the full impact on the back. Not a ton of give to those turnbuckles. I know they look nice with those ECPW logos, but they don't feel so great. As Lockhart just giving a disrespecting kick. And now a kick to the throat. And again, he's got a 5 count to break. Emily Parker there telling him to cut it off at 5. Actually, he has to cut off before 5 or else he gets disqualified. As a big forearm again. Rudy Lockhart feeling pain all the way from head down. As big chop there. Boy, you can hear that one from my broadcast location. As Rudy Lockhart, a victim of another powerful clothesline right in to the chest of Lockhart, who finds himself in a world of hurt now. As Ethan Knight very much in control of this matchup. You know, Rudy Lockhart is not one to give up. As Lockhart comes in, a shoulder into the chest of Ethan Knight. But a cat and mouse going on here. Lockhart using his speed. Oh, tried to spear. And he ends up Coming in with a hurricane rana right over top in the middle of the ring. Like a lightning bolt, Rudy Lockhart. Perhaps sensing victory, he's found a way to turn the tide. He's going up to the top rope. Rudy hearing the support of the crowd here. Oh, and there's a big blow. And down goes Lockhart. He's in the corner. He could be in trouble here. Ethan Knight sizing him up. Big clothesline. Yes. Perhaps suplex. Countered by Lockhart. He couldn't counter the kick, though. Couldn't quite duck. And now he finds himself in the middle of the ring. Not where he wants to be. It's Ethan Knight. Oh, and a counter from Lockhart. I'm not sure if you could hear what Ethan Knight was saying, but he said, the one thing I told you, kid, don't take it personal. This is all business to Ethan Knight, and he's angry now. Pinfall attempt in the middle of the ring. No, he's just going to keep an onslaught of punches. Emily Parker there to make sure there's not some big closed fist that he's laying on Lockhart. He's going to dispose of him out of the middle rope. As Rudy Lockhart now finds himself outside the ring. Of course, mentally, I'm sure both of these guys are thinking to that Rumble during next week's broadcast about how they'll have to avoid being thrown over the top rope. And again, more trash talk from Ethan Knight before he lines up a powerful chop to Rudy Lockhart, who comes back with a chop of his own. They're going blow for blow outside the ring. The rope's not enough to contain. Oh, right into the ring post goes Rudy Lockhart. It's a good way to give somebody a concussion. As into the mat, hardest part of the ring there. Ethan Knight going to work on Rudy Lockhart. Finds himself in the middle of the ring here. As Knight trying to gain control of the matchup here. Suplex takes down Lockhart, middle of the ring. Well past the 10-minute mark here. These two have left it all on the line. Big knee drop on Rudy Lockhart. A little bit of a rolling kick up there. Trying to win the approval of the fans. That's going to go about as well as you'd expect, which is to say not well at all. But he has to be happy with where he is in this matchup. As Knight, front face lock, Rudy Lockhart looking at a world of pain here. Has to find his way out, or at least find a way to the ropes. Fans trying to get behind young Rudy Lockhart. He's a fan favorite here at the Waterford District Community Center. One of the fresh young faces here in ECPW, but right now in a world of hurt in the middle of the ring. And great ring positioning here from Ethan Knight. Has his man right where he wants him. As Lockhart has to either find a way to break this hole or get to the ropes, which would also necessitate a break, but he's right in the center of the ring, so that might be easier said than done. Emily Parker there just making sure there's no verbal submission as well. This painful maneuver. Really wearing down Rudy Lockhart, keeping him grounded. And that's good strategy if you're Ethan Knight, because Lockhart, a bit of an aerial specialist, so quick. If you can keep this on the ground, that would be to the advantage here of Ethan Knight. Fans trying to get behind Rudy Lockhart here in New Waterford. Blows to the solar plexus. Not quite enough to break, but he's able to push him off using the ropes. Rolling pin combination. 1, 2, and a 3 count. And the kid, Rudy Lockhart, picks up a big win and puts himself in an advantageous position in the Sam McLean Rumble. Talk about opportunistic roll up for the victory. And the crowd loving that here in Waterford. And now Ethan Knight finds himself facing a long road if he wants to be the winner of the Sam McLean Rumble next week. He is livid. He can't believe that this match turned out the way that it did. But it is going to be a win for Rudy Lockhart. A big victory here. And Ethan Knight protesting to Sheldon McLean. Sheldon McLean, what do you want me to do? You lost.